Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and it's time for a positive spin. Now, today we're going to be talking about Suicide Squad. Now, I have quite a history with the Suicide Squad. I did see it when it came out on video. It's kind of weird because my cousin was living with me at the time, and we went to see just about every superhero movie that came out. But for some reason, we missed this one. So I remember when it came out on video, I rented it and I watched the theatrical cut, and it seems like most people have a problem with the theatrical cut. And with that being said, I have never seen the extended cut, and I'll tell you why. After I watched it with my cousin here when I rented it, I then bought it on Black Friday and stayed down in my basement all that time sealed. As a matter of fact, I unwrapped it in order to do it for Positive Spin so Joe and I could watch it. So he and I watched the theatrical cut. Okay, now that we got past that. I was a fan of the Suicide Squad before this movie came out. I got the comic books, I read them, I enjoyed them. And as far as the newer Suicide Squad movie, I watched that on cable and I absolutely loved it. And I do remember liking this one, this Suicide Squad. The thing about it is, when I started watching it with Joe, I realized that I didn't really remember much about it. So let's put a positive spin on Suicide Squad. And that's kind of perfect for me because not remembering much about it kind of lets me go in with fresh eyes and kind of judging the movie just on its own merits and not having um, nostalgia or things pent up in my brain, that have me against the film. Yeah. All right. So as I said before, Joe and I watched the theatrical version. It seems like the theatrical version is what people have the most problem with. And I do like to judge movies on their own merits. Now, granted, if you were to ask me, do I like this Suicide Squad or do I like the new one better? For me, I like the new one better, but I also like this film. All right. The first positive, and the positive throughout the film, is the use of music in the movie. Whenever you're using someone else's songs, of course, you're using them to convey a certain emotion or to get a certain point across. And I think that they did that very well in this film. First of all, Margot Robbie is gorgeous. And she's a very good Harley Quinn, which makes sense because they basically went with her for Harley Quinn. Now, I'm not sure going forward if she's going to be Harley Quinn, but I know that, a lot of the fans took to her as Harley Quinn. She's very good. Some of the film takes place on Christmas with Deadshot and his daughter, and I thought that was nice. I always like parts with Christmas in it. It kind of makes me feel a little nostalgic, and I don't know. Christmas look is just nice. I don't know how else to. I don't know how else to describe it. All right, I mentioned before I like Harley Quinn, and I didn't remember the Joker being in any of the comic books, but I kind of have to set that aside because I know that when DC and Marvel, when they do films, they take a certain amount of creative. Um, they do things that maybe the comic book wouldn't necessarily do, and I get that because they're establishing Harley Quinn. So of course you're going to use the Joker to establish Harley Quinn. At least I probably would have as well. It seems like, though, and this is one of the things I was kind of trying to remember, is that I remember people saying that the Joker was hardly in it. And this time when I watched it, it seemed to me like the Joker was in it more than I remembered. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah. Sometimes your mind can play kind of tricks on you. Or yeah. I like that Ben Affleck reprised his role as Batman. I liked him as Batman. I wasn't sold on him at first, but I thought he did a really good job. And I'm glad we got to see some of him. Not as much as I'd like. He basically did his movies, and now he's no longer Batman, from what I gather. But we did get some stuff with him in it, and I thought it was pretty cool. Also, the Flash, which I also didn't remember being in the film, but it had been a while. So the cast of characters are interesting. Notably, the one that kind of interested me the most was Killer Croc, because I don't remember him being in the comic books. Now, I could have not read part of it, but I just don't remember him being in the comic books. I remember King Shark, but I don't remember Killer Croc. So correct me if I'm wrong on that. Was he ever a part of the Suicide Squad in the comic books? Because I did stop reading them after, well, actually, probably around the same time that the movie came out. So I love the premise of controlling villains to do good. I always thought that was cool, and I wondered how they were going to be able to get that across in this film. The humor is definitely decent. Some better than others, like some hit better than others. I like the sets and the atmosphere in the prison. To me, that was a definite positive for me. And I like the action sequences. All in all, I think this film is a lot of fun and it's entertaining. If you're looking for it to be exactly like the comic books, I think you're going to be a little disappointed. But I think they do well with what they're trying to get across and what they have. So check this one out or don't. But don't forget to check out Joe's video for Suicide Squad. Remember, guys, physical media matters. And until next time, peace.